Farage, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
David Cameron, some way, he says, from securing a deal. Do you take heart from that?
No, because the starting position is really poor. This idea of an emergency brake, where we can limit benefits if we're overwhelmed, well, that's existed for years. So if that's what he wins, he's gained nothing at all. The reality is he'll go to the summit on the 18th, 19th of February and get a few more concessions. But we start from such a weak position. And we're not even talking about the free movement of people. We're not even talking about the fundamental issue of whether our Parliament can veto a bad EU law. None of this is even on the table. So frankly, I think the Prime Minister's position right now is pretty pathetic and somewhat anemic.
What more should he say, do you argue?
Well, what he should say is what he said in the Bloomberg speech when he announced the referendum. Then he was talking about a fundamental change of Britain's relationship with the European Union. He was talking about treaty change, really big fundamental changes, not fiddling around on the edges. And frankly, given this offer of an emergency brake on migrant benefits if we're overwhelmed, for him now to go to the next European summit and to ask for more, it's a little bit like the boy in Oliver, going up and saying, please, sir, can we have some more concessions? It is pathetic.
Let us pause and hear what the Prime Minister's been saying in the last few moments, and then you can react to it. Here he is.
We want to end the idea of something for nothing. People said that was impossible. There's now a proposal on the table. It's not good enough. It needs more work, but we are making progress.
That's clear. It's not good enough. So he's singing from the same hymn sheet as you.
Yeah. Well, something for nothing, but that can only be enforced if it's also enforced upon UK citizens as well. Otherwise, it would be discriminatory. So the only way he can remove benefits for EU migrants is to remove them for UK people as well. And look, this is not the issue. People are not coming to Britain just for the benefit system. They're coming to Britain because our minimum wage is 9 times higher than that in Romania. And even if he succeeded in removing migrant benefits, the proposed upping of our minimum wage to a living wage will make the incentives for people from the EU to come here even greater. None of this makes any difference at all. None of this deals with the fundamental questions that the British Parliament and British courts can be overruled, and that we have absolutely no border controls whatsoever to nearly 500 million people who are free to come here from any European country without security checks or anything else.
Come the referendum, you're obviously going to be campaigning to leave, and unless you're suddenly going to surprise us with an exclusive at this point. But given that assumption, where are we with the various different groups here and the one that ultimately the Electoral Commission will have to back? Because it looks potentially confusing, doesn't it?
Well, fun enough, both sides are the same, because the Remain side have BSE, run by Lord Rose. We have the Labour group, run, of course, by Alan Johnson. We have the SNP, who won't work with anybody, led by Nicola Sturgeon. And so the mirror image is, of course, the Leave side, where there are various competing groups, looking and bidding to be the official group.
Well, why can't you sort yourselves out?
However, last Saturday, there was a marked departure from that. Go, a new organisation, a cross-party organisation, and there were 7 of us on that platform last week, from the Labour Party, from the Democratic Unionists in Northern Ireland, from the Conservatives, from the Labour Party, and including the former Defence Secretary Liam Fox. And Go is now out there campaigning. Our next big event will be in Manchester next Friday. And actually, we're out there now and campaigning and doing all we can. Go are doing all we can to bring the other groups together. And I think we're getting very close to that.
And what argument do you put to the Electoral Commission to convince them that yours is better than the others that we've referred to?
Well, I haven't got one. I'm the leader of UKIP. I'm part of Go, an organisation that is now out there campaigning and holding meetings. And the 2 groups, Vote Leave and Leave.eu, frankly, their heads need knocking together, and I'll do my best to do so. You didn't, frankly, have the balls to put country before party.